On August 26, 1071, near Manzikert in eastern Anatolia, two armies met in a battle that reshaped the region for centuries. It still matters because it changed who held power, land, and momentum across Anatolia. The struggle did not begin in a single day. It grew from border raids, imperial rivalry, and a weakening balance between a powerful Byzantine state and a fast-moving Seljuk world. In Constantinople, the emperor faced pressure to defend the eastern frontier while managing rivals at court. In the east, Seljuk leaders saw opportunity in a region already strained by war and local unrest. Romanos IV Diogenes led the Byzantine field army with urgency, hoping to restore imperial authority. Alp Arslan, the Seljuk sultan, was balancing campaigns elsewhere when news of the advance reached him. Neither side marched as a simple mass of warriors. The Byzantine force mixed heavy cavalry, infantry, and allied contingents, while the Seljuks relied on mobile horse archers, scouts, and disciplined mounted shock troops. Supply mattered as much as courage. Armies needed fodder, water, pack animals, and reliable roads, and every delay increased hunger, fatigue, and uncertainty before the fighting even began. The Byzantine army advanced through eastern Anatolia toward the lakes and fortresses near Manzikert. The march was powerful, but it also stretched the force across difficult country and uncertain intelligence. The land around Manzikert offered open space for cavalry, but also room for confusion. Dry ground, broken ridges, and wide visibility could help scouts, yet they could also expose a force that lost formation. Weather likely intensified the strain. Late summer heat, dust, and long hours in armor could wear down men and animals before a decisive encounter even began. The Byzantine plan depended on order, concentration, and a controlled advance. The Seljuk approach favored movement, harassment, and the patience to draw the enemy into costly mistakes. Before the main clash, scouts and skirmishers tested the edges of both armies. These encounters were less dramatic than later legend, but they shaped fear, timing, and confidence. The Byzantine camp had to project strength while holding together a diverse coalition. Different commanders, regional loyalties, and uncertain trust made unity a constant concern. The Seljuk camp, by contrast, relied on mobility and cohesion in motion. Riders could disperse, regroup, and strike again, using distance itself as a weapon. Romanos wanted a clear victory that would stabilize the frontier and strengthen his rule. Alp Arslan sought to protect Seljuk interests without being trapped into a battle on unfavorable terms. As the armies closed in, each side tried to read the other. The challenge was not only to see the enemy, but to understand whether he was committing fully or setting a trap. The opening phase favored movement over shock. Mounted archers began probing attacks, while the Byzantine line tried to hold steady and avoid being pulled apart too early. The center of the Byzantine army had to remain coherent under pressure. That was difficult on uneven ground, where formation discipline could be strained by dust, noise, and repeated feints. Seljuk riders did not need to break the line immediately. They could keep the army moving, tiring it, and encouraging pursuit where caution would have been wiser. At the pressure point, confidence began to fray. Some Byzantine elements advanced too far, while others held back, making coordination harder at the very moment it mattered most. This was not a single instant, but a growing imbalance. The army's center, wings, and reserves no longer moved as one, and that loss of rhythm changed the battle's direction. The decisive movement came as the Seljuks exploited the opening and shifted pressure toward the vulnerable parts of the line. Mobility allowed them to turn hesitation into advantage. Once the line lost its shape, command became harder to restore. Messages took time, visibility dropped in dust, and separate units could no longer rely on a shared tempo. The Byzantine right and left did not collapse in the same way, and that matters. Historical accounts vary, but most agree that coordination failed before total destruction became inevitable. Some troops turned back in confusion, while others tried to protect the retreat. In a battle shaped by speed and uncertainty, withdrawal could quickly look like defeat. The Seljuk advantage was not only tactical, but psychological. A force that stays mobile, alert, and connected can make a larger army feel surrounded even before it is fully broken. By the end of the day, the Byzantine field army had lost the battle's initiative. What remained was a difficult retreat and the realization that the frontier had changed. Romanos IV was captured after the battle, an event that shocked the imperial world. His captivity became a political crisis as much as a military one. The immediate aftermath was not a simple triumph parade. Negotiations, uncertainty, and rival claims followed because power in the medieval world often shifted through both force and bargaining. News of the defeat reverberated far beyond Manzikert. In Constantinople, the political consequences were severe, and in Anatolia, local conditions began to change with accelerating speed. The years that followed did not bring an overnight transformation, but they did open the door to new migrations, new settlements, and new military realities across Anatolia. For the Byzantine Empire, the loss was strategic as well as symbolic. It weakened frontier defense and made it harder to recover control over the interior plateau. For Seljuk and related Turkish powers, the victory helped establish a deeper and more durable presence in the region. But that process unfolded unevenly, through many local contests. Historians still debate the exact size of the armies, the degree of betrayal or disunity, and how much the battle alone explains the broader transformation of Anatolia. Some older retellings simplify the battle into a single dramatic turning point. More careful history sees it as a major event within a longer chain of political strain and frontier change. Even the battle's tactical details remain partly uncertain. Chroniclers wrote from different perspectives, so modern reconstructions must balance narrative clarity with caution. What is clear is the scale of consequence. Manzikert became a reference point for military failure, imperial vulnerability, and the changing map of eastern Anatolia.